Guys, what a time it is to be alive as a Spider-Man fan, for we've gotten the new trailer for Spider-Man No Way Home. It confirmed some things that we've heard rumors about, and it also brought a lot more surprises. I've had time now to watch the trailer at least 15 times. I did a reaction to it. If you want to check it out on the channel, it's up now. But these are my more in-depth thoughts on the trailer as we break it down scene by scene. So here we go. The trailer starts off with a cute little moment between MJ and Peter as they're sitting on the rooftop as Peter is hiding from all the chaos and mayhem going down below now that people know that he is Spider-Man. MJ is reading off some newspaper articles of people suspecting what Peter Parker is able to do as Spider-Man, which kind of suggests to me that maybe a few days or maybe even a couple weeks have passed since the end of Far From Home. But this movie does look like it's going to pick up where Far From Home left off, because right after that cute little interaction between those two, we get some flashes that seem to take place right after the end of that post-credit scene from Far From Home as Peter is swinging with MJ through the city, and all of the screens in New York City have his face on it with Public Enemy #1 printed over it. After some more cuts and flashes of Peter and MJ going through what almost looks like the paparazzi, as Peter gets mobbed by citizens in his everyday life, we then cut to an interrogation scene with Peter where it looks like somehow Mysterio has been able to plant the drones on Peter because the police seem to think that Peter owns the drones that killed Mysterio. In the trailer as well, we get a scene with Peter and Aunt May sitting on the couch as police sirens arrive through their window, and then we get scenes of Peter, Aunt May, and Ned all being interrogated by the police, as well as more scenes of Peter going to school with cameras being all over him as everyone's filming him down the hallways. This is the stuff in the trailer that I really loved. After that post-credit scene in Far From Home, I didn't want to see this glossed over or quickly fixed with a scroll acting as Peter as Spider-Man is in the same room. I'm really glad that they've chosen to go down this direction of Peter dealing with the fact that his identity is revealed to the world and the consequences that come with that. But as Peter is sitting in his classroom, he looks at a figure of a witch as it appears this is taking place during Halloween season that reminds him of Doctor Strange, so he goes to the Sanctum, which brings up a lot of questions for Doctor Strange himself as his Sanctum seems to be full of snow for some reason. He takes Peter down to what appears to be the basement of the sanctuary, and he begins casting the spell over Peter that will erase everyone's memory. But when Peter starts to hear that everyone, including MJ, Ned, and Aunt May, are going to lose memory of him being Spider-Man, for some reason, Peter can't just be like, yeah, erase their memories, I'll tell them again later. He starts freaking out on Doctor Strange, telling him that he doesn't want him to do the spell completely, which causes Doctor Strange to lose his focus. And this is where we see reality break. And there's a split second when reality is breaking that it appears Doctor Strange and Peter are in the same kind of space that Loki and Sylvie were in when they met up with He Who Remains at the end of time. The rest of the trailer is completely bonkers, including scenes of the city being folded up in the way that we saw in the first Doctor Strange movie. Primarily, those scenes were done when Doctor Strange was in the mirror dimension, so this could suggest that Doctor Strange is taking Peter into the mirror dimension, but Peter is falling in the same way that Doctor Strange was falling when he first got his third eye, so to speak, opened by Tilda Swinton in the first movie. We also see a lot of quick images that suggest that there's more villains from the past Spider-Man movies in this movie that have already been confirmed, a lot of which have been rumored. We see some yellow lightning, which could suggest that this is Electro, Jamie Foxx, who we already know is confirmed for this movie. And he said he's not going to be blue this time, so yellow would be a nice switch up. And would be very comic accurate with how the character is, especially in the first iterations of the comic book. We also see some scenes of this same lightning hitting what appears to be a big clump of dust, which could in fact be the Sandman from Spider-Man 3. There's also a very brief and dark image of what appears to be the Lizard from the first Amazing Spider-Man movie behind Peter. And then more blatantly, you get the Green Goblin's pumpkin bomb from the first Sam Raimi Spider-Man movie land on the bridge as you hear Willem Dafoe cackling as the Green Goblin in the background. And of course, the trailer ends with a big smash as Doc Octopus, Alfred Molina himself, comes on the screen to greet Peter. Now, a couple things pointed out in this scene that I've seen on Twitter is that Peter is wearing the same suit that Tobey Maguire was wearing in Spider-Man 3. Now, this could be pretty big speculation. I have nothing to base this off of, but we have seen Marvel in their trailers change things before in pretty drastic ways. The biggest one that comes to mind is this scene from Infinity War. Hulk was nowhere in sight. He was not running with the rest of the gang. In fact, that whole running sequence wasn't even in the movie. Could it be possible that Doc Octopus is saying hello Peter to Tobey Maguire? They've just changed Tobey Maguire in the scene and made it Tom Holland in the scene to throw us off to make it a misdirect. I also have a theory of my own that honestly I don't 100% believe, but a thought did come to my mind as I watched this trailer again. Everyone is expecting that this movie is going to be the Sinister Six build-up from multiverse villains. But I think there's a chance that Dr. Octopus is actually going to befriend Tom Holland's Peter Parker. Remember at the end of Spider-Man 2, if this is in fact the same Doc Octopus from Spider-Man 2, which according to Alfred Molina in his interview, it seemed to suggest that it is, Doc Octopus kind of died as the good guy in Spider-Man 2 after having to talk with Tobey Maguire's Peter Parker. So if he was to be sucked into this universe from that exact moment at the river, he would still have that kind of revelation to be the good guy again. What if he's teaming up with Tom Holland's Peter Parker, maybe as the inside man that warns him about the Sinister Six developing in this movie? Now, Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire, I know, are heavily rumored, and I 100% believe that they're going to be in this movie, but there hasn't been any 100% confirmation that they are going to be in this movie. So while I do believe the theory that Dr. Octopus is in fact talking to Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, whether the trailer cuts it to make two different scenes work together, or they do replace Tobey Maguire in the trailer with Tom Holland, that's the one that I believe the most. But if there is a possibility that Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield aren't in this movie, or just in a post-credit scene as a tease, I think the idea of a Dr. Octopus turned good guy teaming up with Tom Holland's Spider-Man would be a pretty unexpected twist that no one would really see coming in this movie once Dr. Octopus is introduced into the film. Anyway guys, those are the surprises and thoughts that I found while watching the Spider-Man No Way Home trailer. This trailer I just absolutely love. I'm gonna watch it another 15 more times. But what did you guys think of the trailer? What are your theories from the trailer? What are some surprises that you picked up from the trailer? Comment down below, let me know. I want to know all your thoughts and opinions about this trailer. If you like talking movies, TV, and entertainment, why don't you go on and click that subscribe button, click that like button, click that notification bell, all that YouTube stuff. And I hope to talk to you guys again real soon.